You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine. Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Animal Lovers Cafe. I know you're shining bright, and so are your animals. I just wanted to bring you all into the cafe just briefly to say hi to the animals. Marcus, there's your llama, and you may or may not have a favorite animal, so pick one right in the comments. Yeah, so just welcome to the cafe. And just a little question for you. Do you know what it means to lead by following? Huh? Write yes or no in the comments. Or anything you want to in the comments. But I just really love that. It's like lead by following. So you and your animal companions have a lovely, trusting relationship. Would you like to learn how to deepen that trust? You're in the right place. You're in the absolute right place, because my friend, my dear friend, Shari Goodwin, will be chatting with us about deepening trust and leading by following. But first, you guys that have been around know what's coming next. There's a lot of new people, and I want to welcome you. And if you're new, please write new in the comments so that I can say hi to you and that the whole group can welcome you. because this is just the best, 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 best group. And we love to just get to know everybody and say hi to each other. And we just have this beautiful, beautiful community. So if you're new, you don't know me. And my name is Janet Dobbs of Animal Paradise Communication and Healing, where my greatest joy is to help you discover your unique way of communicating, receiving information from animals. And I'm just so excited. So I had to just stop and just take a second to let you know a little bit about our guest for today, right here in the cafe. As I said before, she's my dear friend. Her name is Shari Goodwin. And so I just want to tell you just a little bit about her. I could go on and on and on, but I won't, because I promise we're just going to get right to her. So Shari Goodwin, she's a strategist, a leadership coach. Of course, she's an animal lover. She's an animal lover and the author of 2 Amazon best-selling books. Okay, you've got to just pay attention to this. Shari's led winning I can't say that well. She's led winning proposals valued to $65 million. Yep, I got that one right. She grew a startup from a 0 to 2.1 million in its first year. What? And she partners with her horses for powerful transformation. So welcome, 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 Shari. Yay.
Thank you, Janet. It's an honor to be here with you.
I'm just so happy that you were able to join us. So do tell, like anything you want to do, if you want to share about you a little more. Why don't you tell everybody like where you are from, where you live? You live in Northern Virginia horse country, but if you want to share a little bit about that, so we can get to know you a little better.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this very special Earth Day, which is very appropriate considering I was an environmental scientist actually for 20 years. So reinvention is one of my other loves and focal points in my work as well. My husband and I live out in Marshall, Virginia with 5 horses and 2 dogs and some formerly feral cats who have adopted us and are now incredible mousers, including today. One caught this gigantic mouse, came running into the field from the field as I was leading back one of my other horses, and of course, had to show off this mouse hanging from her lips, and it was quite impressive. She's just about a 6-pound cat, so this it was kind of huge, and I was kind of horrified, quite frankly. But of course, you can't tell her that you're horrified, because then that would be just awful. Talk about building trust and everything. It's a great gift that she's presenting me with. I'm thinking, oh, gross. Can you leave it over there? But okay. So anyway, I'm so happy to be here today. Just worked with a couple of my horses this morning, and we also talked about this topic, kind of leading by following, and they're great teachers of that. So happy to share whatever. So if you guys have questions or anything in the, it is a great thing. So if you guys have questions, feel free to raise them, and I can talk as much as you want about this topic, or where do you want to go, Janet? What do you want from me? What's going to best help this?
Oh, Shari, what do I want from you? It's like everything. No, let's like really take a little deep dive into the trusting deeply, like a little deeper. What do you, explain maybe, what do you mean by that? And then following up on that, whenever you want to talk about that, is what do you mean by lead by following?
Yeah.
And
thank you for that. So it's important to start with definitions. And as a former scientist, I tend to be fairly analytical. And then I also have a apparently very strong woo-woo streak. So you never quite know what's going to come out at any point. But really, for me, we'll just start with leadership. For me, the definition, how I define leadership, I'm talking about inspired leadership. And what I mean by that is you're inspiring and empowering others. Okay. I used to say inspiring and motivating others to follow. And I've since reflected on that, and I found that motivation is really on them. They have to be motivated themselves, right? So, but I can, as a leader, empower. So inspire and empower others. Whether or not they follow, that's also their choice. So, and I'm big on the freedom of choice piece here. So when I talk about following, leading by following. What I mean by that is really looking into this awareness of other. So who is on your team? Say you're a leader. Who is on your team? It might be your animal team, your dog or your horse or your cat or multiple animals in your family, and really understanding them. So there's that, seek first to understand, that was derived from the Bible, many, many years ago, that Stephen Covey then wrapped up into the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in his book when he put that out many years ago now. So seek first to understand. So when you understand what motivates the other, what brings them joy, why do they do what they do, what are their best strengths, all of those other things, and you do that through observation, curiosity. I think as a leader, it's most important to be curious and sincerely curious about other. And then eventually you begin to follow them, right? Follow their curiosity, follow their areas of interest, follow their strengths, and help empower those areas. And then eventually invite them into your vision as a leader. So the vision could be a beautiful, peaceful walk with your animal. It could be a ride with your horse. It could be, a cat sitting in your lap purring. It could look like anything. So there's this mutual cooperation and kind of collaboration, and you're co-creating the experience together and traveling the journey together, optimizing both of your strengths. So there is always a need for command and control type leadership. And that's not what I'm talking about here. I do have great respect for that. And there is also a time for command and control type leadership when you're in emergency situations with your animals, and they just have to come with, right? They may be afraid, they may be whatever, and you need to really be assertive, and you may need to use some other tools in order to have them get the kind of veterinary care or whatever it is that they need. So we want to have this full suite of tools in our toolbox to be able to deepen and build the trust, so that when we do have to use force or this kind of command and control type leadership, we have enough trust in the bank, so to speak, that it's not going to erode and cause irreparable damage to the relationship overall. So I'm just going to pause there, Janet. I know it was a kind of a mouthful.
It was, but it's like, I love, pardon me, I have this frog. So, the animals at the cafe kind of, frog just went, anyhow, sorry. I just really love all that you said. And you're talking about, applying the leadership with animals, but also I know you teach humans also how to be leaders. So for those of you that don't know Shari, this is also anything she says works for working with animals, but also if you are a leader of humans. And everybody here is a leader, a teacher of some kind or another, whether they are working with their own animals or working with their own businesses. And we have I just want to say hi to Roy, is the tech troublemaker. So welcome, Roy. And then this is Shari, and I just wanted to say hi. Thanks for stopping by. And Shari, I just really always find it fascinating, about how you share about us, the different ways of being a leadership, because a lot of people, as a lot of us know, they're just like, it's my way or the highway, and that's just, whether you're working with an animal or whether you're working with a team of people or one other, or you're trying to lead a group. I love that you are open to, and you mentioned, they following their lead. Yeah. So could you go a little deeper? You have so many could you give an example?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another
I have tons of examples.
I
So
know.
I work, just to clarify, so I work mostly with people, my clients, and that's how I get paid. So I work with business leaders, entrepreneurs of all sorts, and help them achieve their big goals. So at the premise, though, of everything that I do has been learned by working with horses, dogs, nature, all of this. So we're really looking at these invisible signals and the energy, all of these underlying factors that drive success, success defined as however that is for you. And what I see often is that folks are not necessarily Bad leaders, they're not trying to take over. I tend to work with amazing people who are so open-minded and so fabulous and very inspired on their own, already very successful oftentimes. What I do see, this is what I see, is when there's an agenda and there's a goal, that some of the stuff I just referenced before starts to get thrown out the window. So awareness of other, the trust, the sensitivity towards preparedness, readiness, comfort zone. Comfort zone, I mean both physical and emotional comfort zone. Getting people ready to do things, getting everybody on the same page. And when you get an ambitious goal, as oftentimes my clients all have these big projects they're working on, leading a company, they're doing all kinds of really important work, is that agenda starts to drive the behavior, and the behavior ends up getting driven from a place of almost fear, like fear of not being able to get it done, or the deadline's very ambitious, and so you've got this external forcing factor of, and we all have this, right? So what happens is then we get into this rush, and we start just kind of ordering things around, and we don't pay as much attention as in this followership, like watching what's going on and then fine tuning the tweaks and things that you need to do, and knowing when to pop in as a leader and when to leave things the heck alone. So what I mean by that, I run equine assisted leadership retreats out at our farm often, and have for 11, 12 years now, well, since 2009. And I'll give you an example of one. There was a group of very high-powered leaders that came in, and I gave them a task to do with a horse. The horse was off lead in a round pen, and said, okay, what's something real for you that you're trying to accomplish? And they said, well, we're all getting lined up with our subcontractors, our teaming partners, to try to go after this $100 million proposal. Great. Contract, $100 million contract. So they were, in the proposal mode, writing mode right then. So they said, okay, well, let's simulate that goal. Let's say you win the proposal, $100 million proposal. And what that looks like is all of you, they're here right now in the room, with my horse, and I think this was Lemon Squeezy, we'll be walking together over a pole on the ground, which would represent the win, right? And you're all going to do this. You're going to kind of negotiate an obstacle course on your way over there. And you can't touch him. So we're just inspiring and empowering each other to work together as a team to go over this pole, which would then simulate this win, right? So up to that point, everybody been so laid back and chill and enjoying the horses, and it's all good. We're talking about energy. It's fabulous. Man, they went in that ring and it was like, boom, and Lemon Squeezy didn't want to even go in the ring. He's balked. He's like this. He's seized up on the outside. And so I asked one of the guys, so, well, how would you address this with your teammate? What do you want to do? So he took Lemon Squeezy and he dragged him into the ring. And Lemon Squeezy was pretty pissed off. So from that point on, Lemon Squeezy had a big no. And he had pinny ears, and he was just stuck in place. And they'd come up near him, and he'd like this, make the face, And I was like, oh man, this is not a very trusting situation. And they're getting frustrated and stuff, and they're trying to force him. Then another guy came up, and he's trying to get in there. Another woman's trying to get it. Okay, nope. Lemon Squeezy saying, nope, I cannot work this way. Talk to the hoof. So. They finally realized that this was clearly not the right approach, and that they were really not going to win this bid. So all of a sudden, they decided they needed a different approach. So they found someone who was actually very quiet, who they noticed had a connection with Lemon Squeezy outside of the arena before they all walked in, and they asked that woman to start a conversation with him. And she used a totally different style, and it was just her and him. And she listened to him, and you could see him kind of go, okay. And all the rest of them kind of backed off, just let her do their thing and her thing. And then all of a sudden, he was like, yeah, okay. He went, and he just started walking along her. And the next thing you know, the rest of them joined in, and they all were able to accomplish the goal together. But they couldn't do it the way that they habitually do things. So this is a paradigm shift. And this is the thing that I talk about a lot with my clients, is sometimes the old way that you are used to working is outdated, exhausted, and less effective. And there's actually another way that you can achieve the same thing that is a higher impact, it's easier, and it builds trust. So part of that is this lead by following, by really understanding, seek first to understand and observe, get curious, and then build that kind of rapport, and then all together walk the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and Marcus has a nice comment. It's like always should be different tools available for leadership. No one size fits all. And Shari,
on,
I
Marcus.
just, I love that. I've been part of some of your workshops where that happens. And it's so powerful because the animals really reflect us. It's like back when you first started that, I got to be at your very first one. And it affected me so much. So I wanted to be a better leader, whether it's with humans that I work with or animals, right? And it's like Shari has a horse, a white horse named Cali, and otherwise known as the Cali Lama because she is so wise. But here I am, this non-horse person. I'm not I haven't ridden since I was little, getting in a ring, in an indoor arena, but inside a round pen. You see, I don't even know what stuff is called. But
You do.
yeah, I know. But but to be in there, and then you and another very excellent horse person were on the outside observing. And again, you gave instructions to be a leader. And what I remember is my instruction was to go up to Cali, introduce yourself, and then walk around the ring, over a pole, come to center, and stop together without touching her. And I'm going like, okay, I got the saying hello part. That's no problem because that's what I do. But I'll remember going like, okay, how am I going to get her to follow me or walk beside me and do all this stuff? And I started in my mind saying, oh, Cali, please help me, show me the way. That's not a good leader, right? And you guys observed, and what I remember you saying me at the end was she was about to do something, that would have been dangerous, and you all were ready to run in. And at that moment, I was like, oh, hell. And I just took this deep breath and breathed out and connected to the earth. And I took one finger to her halter. We weren't allowed to touch, but I did do that. And I was like, let's go. And I didn't say it out loud. And I'll be darned if I got into my body, into myself. I got really, really clear in my mind. And we walked around, we walked over the pole, we came to the center, and we stopped together. And I went, whoa, really? And so that's not just leading an animal. She was really showing me the way. And I love how you work with humans and animals in business. It's just the most amazing, fascinating, wonderful thing.
Oh, thank you, Janet. Yeah, that was a super powerful moment, and it was wonderful to watch you and see you were in your authentic power. Right. So we talk about that and it sounds like some cheesy little thing. It's totally not. When you're in it, and you were in this place of absolute clarity, absolute groundedness, and you had the right amount of assertiveness. Right. So Callie didn't follow anybody just to follow. She is not a passive follower. Callie is a leader. She is a wise, very calculating, careful horse being. Mm-hmm. And so if she feels any doubt or insincerity or incongruence, which is what all of that is, she's like, heck no way, man. You get your stuff together and then we'll talk. And you did in this spot. I mean, it was this transformation. You were just like, boom, you landed in this spot, and you were, emotionally, energetically, physically, it all came together. You just integrated all of the powerful forces in that moment, and together you guys were one, and it was really beautiful to watch.
But I just, so that was what you started 2009 when you made your shift.
So that was probably 2010 when
Okay.
It might have been 2010 when you guys came out. Yeah.
But,
or it could have been 2009. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
And Shari's known for reinventing your greatness. I love that. And you were reinventing yourself from the science end of the world to something different. I don't know, I'm always reinventing myself, it seems. But that was just so powerful. It affected me so deeply. It's lasted even, to this day. what happened, and also just holding the mirror up to really see what I was doing or not doing. And so I think our animals reflect us. So if you have dogs or cats or even a wild animal, so, some people don't have animals, notice how they respond to you and then take a look at what's going on with you.
That's such good advice, Janet. I mean, they really do. They're going to reflect our approach, our energy, and they also have their own stuff. So they are their own little beings. So I'm not going to give them totally off the hook by being, totally just reflecting as mirrors. They have their own stuff, and they're very wise, and they can always teach. And your experience with Cali, what I've found with so many other people now over all these years, is it hits you at a cellular level. It affects your entire being. Outside of cells, your entire being. And that's why it's so lasting. You have a somatic response, you have an energetic response, you have all of this type of impact on your whole essence, and it shifts you. So then you're able to, the more important thing is that happens, and then the most important thing is then, well, okay, so what? Had this powerful experience. Well, let's talk about how you can take it then into other parts of your life, so that you can make sure that you're not leaking power. Yes, management and leadership is knowing the difference. Absolutely. And it is really important to be able to take these concepts and these learnings and the wisdom from these animals and integrate it into the human life. And so that's kind of my job, and as I see it, part of my job, and I work every day to make that happen, including in my own life.
Yeah, I think it's so important to walk the talk, and you do. And another thing, as a leader, one thing I've noticed you and always been in awe of is, and so anybody else that's a leader, it's really helpful to have that intuition. You have that deep connection, that silent language of telepathy. It works with humans too. And I really love kind of observing you during a workshop where there's tons of people, and you'll be in the center of the round pen with whatever horse is our teacher at that time. And a lot of people would be just so focused on, oh my God, I'm the leader and I have to yammer, talk and present. And then you have a horse with you, so you need to be connected and aware of them. But you're so aware of the whole group. I mean, I've seen so many times where you're going like, who felt that? And it was like the horse reacted in a certain way because one of the humans was responding in a certain way, and you pick up on it. And I think it's really important for any of us that are leaders or teachers, or whether it's an animal or a human or both, it's just, I think it's a gift, but it can be developed to be aware of everything, our surroundings and our connection with each other. It's like you're such a great example of that as far as, being, for me, it's been an honor to be able to observe that also.
You're very kind, Janet. You're very, very kind. But you know what's coming up for me as you're saying that is presence, right? So it's when I'm doing that, I have no thoughts in my head of any sort other than exactly what's happening in that moment. It's completely clear, and I think that. That is something. It's funny because I just switched into that mode as you were talking. I kind of went in that space, and when I'm in that space, it's now I'm trying to reflect and speak to it. It's a little bit hard because you're using a different part of your brain. But it's being absolutely present and clear, so that you don't have any of that talk going on in your head. There's no doubt. There's no whatever. You don't have all the answers or anything, but you're completely present in the moment. And when you are completely present in the moment, you have access to so many different parts of your brain that you don't when you've got little chatter stuff going on all the time in the background.
Yeah, I think that's a really big key to remember, whether those of us that go live, or if you're in front of a live group of any kind, even one-on-one, to just remember to be present. That's all that matters. And I know that shift. It's like you said, you shifted into that. I'm like, I know that feeling. And it's just, it comes naturally. It can come, you just need to it's a thing you practice, or some people just have it just naturally. But the animals respond to that. It's like if we're, and they're more, oh no, I was about to say something that I just got like lemon squeezy coming in going like, I was about to say we humans tend to have the daydreams and wandering minds. But clearly, I mean, Lemon Squeezy was a big example when he first came to you, and he would be like in the arena or in the indoor arena. Yeah, that's what it was. And then he'd be like distracted by what was outside, looking through the windows, and he wasn't present with us. Mm-hmm. So they do it too. So I was about to make a false statement. But for any of us to be very grounded, present, and focused and connected and watching, our distractions. And just so much to learn. Oh, yeah. So this is good. Thanks, Roy. Animals recognize confidence and fear. Big time. Yeah. I know you agree with that, Shari.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I've been exploring recently is this concept of things being safe enough. Because it's all nice to have a safe place, and I've talked about that a million times about, you need to be the safe place, you need to be the safe place, you got to have the safe place, whatever it is, and you create it as a leader and all that. It's all great. But the truth is, it just needs to be safe enough, right? Because there's always a little risk, there's always a little something happening, and that's our growth edge. So when it's safe enough, there's an opportunity to grow. There's a little bit of risk, and there's an opportunity to grow. If you're always in your comfort zone, you don't really have as much of an opportunity to grow.
Yeah. I love that. And it's like I love that you always say, be the safe place, that we need to be the safe place, and especially when it comes to animals, but also to humans. They need to feel safe. And Marcus,
That's
safe
right.
enough and good enough, it will never be perfect. Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Practice, not perfection, so we do the best we can. But I was reminded of one of my clients. Yep. No, he's not. One of my clients. So that would be a dog. And the issue was he would bite people that came into the house. Now, they live outside. They don't live in this country. There's a couple of dogs with the humans. And I said, why are you biting? And he showed me, so German Shepherds. A lot of people are scared to death of dogs. German Shepherds, really scared. So these people were walking into his home scared to death. And he didn't know how to stop that fear. So it was just like filling, he showed me, the fear was filling his home. And he couldn't stand it. He was so sensitive. He was like, make it stop. And it wouldn't go away. So dogs don't have hands, but their mouth acts as a hand, and he would stop. And he was like, why are humans so sensitive? We have thin skin. We don't have heavy fur, and, so a bite that would just be hey, would potentially, break our skin. So trying to explain to him that wasn't the best way to handle that. But what he was showing me really made me step back and think, our fear is so strong and it gives off an energy. So I'm sorry, I don't know why I rambled onto that, but you were talking about, our leadership and just how we respond to each other, and our animals pick up on things. Boy, do they.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I yammered.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I just, anything you want to share that we haven't touched on about the topic of, deepening our trust and leading.
Well, yeah, I could talk about this for
know.
days, and I know we have a half hour or so I want to be mindful of the time, and I guess what I can share is, I guess there's probably the two things. There's the power of observation, and in that observation, releasing judgment, releasing judgment of we often come into situations with preconceived notions of what's happening and beliefs of what we think is happening. And if we can start fresh and start new every single day with our human teams and with our people in our lives and with our animals in our lives, regardless of what had transpired the day before, give the benefit of a blank slate and start to seek to understand anew. It's a beautiful gift.
Yeah, I love that, Shari. Thank you. And it reminds me of, in my Reiki teachings, we talk about the blank sheet of paper, trying to make it more modern. You could think of a whiteboard or whatever, just starting with a blank every time you go into a situation. So in that case, it was going into a practice, say a meditative practice. Each time you do whatever it is you do, so you're working as a leader, start fresh. Even if you're with the same people or animals, each time let it be fresh so you're open to new possibilities. Because if you put everything in a box, you're limited to that little box. But if you're that blank sheet of paper, you're open to all kinds of possibilities that can happen. And I really like that.
So much wisdom there,
Yeah,
Janet.
thanks,
You are
Shari.
so smart. Love it.
Yeah, and you too. So, yeah, I just want to, thank you so much for being with us. And I always forget to do this. So if you all could like and subscribe, we'd really love that. And thank you, Shari, so much for taking time from your busy day and being with us and sharing your greatness with us, and for helping us look at trusting and working with our animals, having a deeper relationship. And we can take that to having a deeper relationship with other humans too, because we humans are animals too. Yeah. Ooh, so
Well, thank you, Janet.
thank
It's always an
you.
honor to be with you. So I really appreciate that.
And Marcus, I love that. It's like, thank you, everybody. And I hope you can come back with us sometime. The door is always welcome for you to be here with us. And I'm just going to play a little goodbye music and just wish everybody, you, Shari, and everybody else, a wonderful happy Earth Day. I dated this. You're not supposed to date stuff. But anyhow, happy Earth Day. I don't care. Happy Earth Day. Celebrate Mother Earth. Just have the best day. Have fun with your animals. Thanks, Shari, for being here.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have the best day. And, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Shari.
See ya.